This is the Just Steph Show, and I'm your host, Steph Palermo, your Italian Boston girl who's an empath, healer, and all-around seeker of wisdom. Tune in weekly for advice on how to live your best life at work, home, or play so you can feel groovy every day. This is Steph Palermo. It's the Just Steph Show. Everybody has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. We are second lifers, empty nesters, newly single, and those starting over. Age 3, your healthy, happy, hip years are just beginning. Okay, kids, listen, I want to tell you, I got my retreat coming up in Sicily. It's for 5 women. It's exclusive. You have to apply. You have to be, wanting to feel groovy. And it's in June 12th through the 16th. And you can get on my website, juststeph.com, and find out all the information. If you want to come and feel groovy in Sicily, we're going to adopt the Sicilian way to be and have a groovy time. And also, if you want to work with me, Just Steph up close and personal, I have a 12-week coaching package, but also I am going to be offering feel groovy sessions. So just a one-time feel groovy, and just get in touch with me and we can get you on the groove line. Today I have with me, oh my gosh, my fave business coach, Jamie Palmer. Okay, Jamie, so you are CEO and digital business strategist and coach with Outlier Marketing Group. I'm glad you're here today.
I'm so excited to be here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm so excited. Your retreat, so if you're contemplating the retreat, can I just say, if I didn't have 2 kids under 5, I would be there. Because I don't think going to Italy for a week is reasonable in my life at this point in time. However,
you'll get there.
It's gonna be flipping. I'm so excited about that.
I know, it's really great. It's gonna be great. We're gonna do a wine tour, cooking lesson. We're gonna do yoga every day. We're gonna have feel groovy talks. We're gonna have time to work with me one-on-one.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're in a beautiful house, 3-minute walk to the beach. And right outside of Palermo, Sicily. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But okay, so let's get into I want to talk a little bit about your journey because I think I've told you this before. I'm very impressed with the millennials and then your age group. I don't know if you're in that millennial group, but I don't know. But I think you are. But you started young, doing your own business, and you've created your life. So tell me sort of how you got the motivation to be an entrepreneur and to start your business back in college.
Yeah, great question. So I think I'm on the cusp of the millennials. I'm like one of those, I think they actually call me there's a micro generation that they call us. We're the Star Wars generation. So we're part millennial, part Gen Yers. But yeah, so I started my business. I always knew I wanted to have a business. So when I was probably 12, I would run around. We would go to New Hampshire every year in February. And we'd go to this this bookstore, and I would have my parents buy me these bargain textbooks. So legit textbooks. And then I would go back to my house and I'd run around and create lesson plans from the textbook. And I would teach anybody that was willing to listen. So I always knew that I wanted to own my own business. I didn't really know what it was going to be. However, when I was in college, I graduated college 2003, 2004 time frame. So I graduated in after the fall semester. So end of 2003, beginning of 2004. And there were no jobs. I remember in the spring of 2003, I had to go find a internship for marketing, and I legit could not find anything. Just marketing wasn't up. People weren't spending money on marketing at that time because it was kind of the crash of the economy. Right. And so I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do? And at the time I was working for my aunt's small business in East Providence. And I just was like, well, why don't I just try and do my own thing? And so we did. So we started it was me back then. I started originally as a website design company, a graphic design company. And just kind of went after it. Cause I knew that I didn't want to all the jobs that I could find were less money than I was making at my Embroidery Factory.
Right.
And I was like, this just isn't what I want to do. Like, I don't want to go work in some office somewhere making copies and getting coffee for somebody. And, so I was like, well, if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it.
Right.
And, we just kind of like got a whole, like within the first few years, within the first 3 years, I made it to 6 figures. And then we just kind of maintained right around that, right above it, right below it until around 2012. And that's when I got pregnant with my first son. And he was born in 2013. And every year since then, we've really worked very hard to grow the business. And now we have a team of 5. Last year, we doubled the business again. So we did just over $400,000 in sales last year. I'm certain we'll double it again this year. But yeah, it's just, everyone likes to think like, oh, success is attributed to like this one thing. And, people can get lucky and they can go from like 0 to 7 figures overnight. But ultimately, like my biggest, like, it's consistency, like show up and do the things even on the days when you don't feel like it.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Hey, I'm Mike Marino, and I'm making America Italian again, and you're listening to me on the Just Steph Show.
So, what are your top 3 tips for an entrepreneur who wants to start their own business?
Oh, great question. I would say figure out who excites you to work with, like who makes you really, really excited about like to work with, number 1. Number 2, get super consistent. The faster you can get consistent, the faster you're going to get to your goals. And I would say number 3, like, some people might not always agree with me on this. I know you will, but follow your gut, right? Like if something doesn't feel right, follow your gut. Don't tolerate like, don't tolerate like bad behavior from clients and from people who work from you and all that sort of stuff. Like really just be willing to follow your gut. So no matter what it is. And when you do start to follow your gut, you'll notice that things start to just magically fall into place.
Right. Well, I mean, I love that. So, well, I mean, I think so too. And I think the other thing I would add to that just is knowing your why.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to, it has to be purpose driven. I think when you know your why do you want to do what you're doing? Do you love it? All of that. So, do you love all of it? Do you love what you're doing?
Yeah.
Is there something inside of you because we all have something inside of us that brings that's our gift to the world. So, that's how,
Yeah, and I think that's following your gut too, right? Like I can't tell you how many times that I'm like, oh, I should have followed my gut. And then, I learned the lesson, but it was 10 times harder because I didn't follow my gut in the first place. And I think that that's something that I don't know if it comes with age or experience or like just, I know when I first started my business, and I think that a lot of newer entrepreneurs really struggle with like that imposter syndrome. Like it doesn't feel like you feel like a faker if you're like, let me, doing these Facebook lives and that sort of stuff. So I think that that's like really just believe in yourself and know that you're here to do what you're doing.
Well, and be authentic, in in everything that you do, whether it's in your relationships or in your work. So, all right. So I know you explained this to me before, but please, what is a ClickFunnels?
Yeah. So ClickFunnels, that's just a piece of software. So software that helps you really get specific about how, so think of it as a funnel, right? There's only one option. So ClickFunnels is a piece of software that makes it really easy to make funnels on the web. So, funnels are important for when you're growing your email list and you want people to take one specific action and not give them any other options.
Right. So like an opt-in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for example, your 10 tips to feeling groovy.
Right.
The only option on that page is to go to that next step. And ultimately that's what you'd use software like ClickFunnels for.
Okay. All right. So because I wasn't really sure on that, and that's sort of your thing. So how, yeah, how do you balance self-care, work, fun, family, all of that?
Yeah. I'd like to say it's something really sexy, but it's just putting it on the calendar. It's not anything sexy. It's really just putting it on the calendar. I think the biggest thing for me is, as I was sitting down with Jesse on my team and we were going through the numbers for the past 2 years, we noticed a gigantic correlation between us having record-breaking months, and then we would have a low month, and we'd have a record-breaking month, and then we'd have a low month. And it's not low, but it's just not at the same pace. So we were going like this, and this has been going on for roughly 2 years, and we noticed this pattern. So what we did is we went through and we looked at my calendar, like what was going on in my calendar. Was I actually keeping my appointments with myself for my self-care, the things that make me feel really good and allow me to show up as the best version of myself? And I think if you're going to run a company and be a mom and be a good partner and be able to have fun and really be present in everything that you do, you have to show up and you have to take care of yourself. Like, you have to prioritize that above all else. And so that's one thing for me that both the team and my husband, they're all on board with this. No matter what, Jamie has to take care of herself first. Right. And we know that when that happens, the business thrives, because when I show up,
making money.
Everybody's making money, right? Everybody makes more money. Everybody's happier. But I also, and everyone's like, well, that's you, because that's where you're at in your business. And it's like, it's not true. It doesn't matter where you are. If you have made $0 in your business, or you've made $50 million in your business, if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not being a leader for your clients, that therein lies the problem.
Right. And I'd like to interject in here, because even if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're not putting on your own oxygen mask, everybody else is going to suffocate. That's the way it is. Or you're going to give from an empty tank, and you're going to, explode or implode or do something. So, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you're not, and let's talk about what is authentic self-care. Because I can tell you right now, like, I'm all about the fun. So I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can't do that today because I'm going out, like I'm going and I'm social, because I'm so social and fun. Like to me, everything that I do has a spiritual component to it. Like it just fills I want everything to fill my soul up. And so, but my problem is I'm a fun junkie. Like I like to go out and have fun and do this and do that. And and because I'm also like, I'm a Scorpio, but all of my signs, like rising signs, I'm all water. So I'm all very feeling, like everything's about the feeling. So I can tend to be like, I can't do this. I'm suffering. My heart is broken. I had a breakup. I can't do it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So what is authentic? Let's talk about authentic self-care. What does that mean?
Yeah. So I think for me, that means it's a couple of things. It's figuring out what is your self-care routine, right? Like, what is it that you need to do to really show up as the best version of yourself? So for me, that is meditating, working out, and then, just having time to, like, I go to this Bodhi spa place once a week, which is a hydrotherapy spa. I know that feels really, really good to me, and I continually do that. I go to the chiropractor once a week. I have a coach for anxiety around putting yourself out there on the internet, right? Like that was something that was really bugging me for a while. And so, like, making sure when you have figuring out what you want to do to take care of yourself, right? Like everything that everybody does is different. Like if you're into painting, you might be like, hey, painting for 20 minutes a day is like a really stress reliever to you, and that's self-care. Or coloring, like everyone has the adult coloring books now. I know for me, meditation feels really good. Other people are like, no, I don't want to meditate, but I'll visualize for 5 minutes and then I'll journal, right? I'm not a huge journaler fan. So figuring out and learning how your body responds to these things, right? And what feels good and what doesn't. And then putting those on the calendar and sticking to it, like, and doing it, you know? And I think that's the thing. And like, as you said, like going out and having fun. I have the third Thursday of every month, I go out with my girlfriends no matter what. And I know that's my self-care with my hanging out with my friends and really making sure I get in that time to also have an adult conversation, because I've got two little kids, right? So I think it's you have to figure out what works for you, because what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you or for everybody else. So I think try a bunch of things. Like I know some people that I work with, they swear by getting a massage once a month, because that really, really helps them. It's determining what works for you.
Yeah, I agree. And it's so funny because I never used to take the time to take like a bath, because I was like, okay, just got to take a quick shower. But I have decided that, well, I haven't been consistent at it, but like, you know what, a couple of nights I took like Epsom salt baths, and because I'm a Scorpio, like in water, like the water is just where it's like I'm a mermaid. Like it's like my home. I love it. I love the ocean. I love the sand and the salt and all of that. So, you know, you got to know what sort of charges you up.
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, so I live a mile from the beach, and like in the summer, for me, it's paddleboarding and going to the beach as much as humanly possible. Right. And it's also making sure, like, I've been integrating a lot more stretching into my routine, because I know that makes my body feel really, really good. Because I literally don't have any more time on my calendar to be like, oh, I'm going to go commit to a yoga class once a week. So instead I'm like, I'll add stretching into my morning routine, and I can do a quick 20 minutes of stretching and get the same benefit of sitting in a yoga class for an hour.
Right.
And I don't have to leave my house. Right. Which is a huge benefit to me.
Right.
That's not for everybody.
Right. It's not.
It's not. And so like for you, I know you do the yoga, but that's also part for you. That's probably like a social aspect of yoga, right? That makes you feel fulfilled.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I do boxing, that's more social for me. When I go to yoga, there's certain things that I do, and as social and as chatty as I am, and everyone will be like, oh my God, Stephanie will chat your ear off. There are certain things that I do that I want quiet. Yeah. So when I go to yoga, there's some people in yoga class that just talk so much. I'm going, shut up.
Yeah.
So, and then even when I go get my nails done, they want to put me where everybody's sitting. I go, no, I want to go over. I sit where there's nobody. Because I want to be alone, and I want to work. I want to be on my computer. I want to have quiet. So those are things that I do that maybe years ago I wouldn't have spoken up and said, I would have just taken the chair that they gave me.
Yeah.
And now I say, now they know. I walk in and I just go right to the back, because there's nobody there. Awesome. And, and so, because normally I just need, normally I'm a social, but there's certain things that I do that I need quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. And my recommendation, right? Like get in at least 7 hours a week of self-care. Like when you think about it, it's only an hour a day.
Right.
It's not that much. And if my old self, like myself in 2008 heard me saying this, she would be like, Jane, shut up. That's ridiculous. It has nothing to do with your success. But the fact of the matter is, the better I take care of myself, the more successful that I am.
Yeah, and you always wondered why the airline said put on your own oxygen mask before you help the next person. And, I always wondered about that, because as a young mother, I'm taking care of my kids first.
Yeah.
I'd rather choke than them, But no, you can't, because you can't help them if you're not breathing.
Yeah.
You can't help anybody.
Yeah.
You can't do anything for anybody. You can't be a good boss. You can't be a good mom. You can't be. And I will tell you this, through my 20 years of raising my kids, I did not put on an oxygen mask at all.
Yeah.
The 20 years that I was, raising those 4 boys, I put everybody else before me. My weight was a problem.
Yep.
My self-esteem was a problem. There was so many things, and I was not happy. I was frustrated. I mean, there was a lot that was, not good for me. And so I just was never really happy.
Yeah.
So, I would say this to anybody who's listening, please do this first, put on your oxygen mask, do what you need to do. And in that, I think you find your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You get aligned, then you're in your zone, then you're walking in your genius, I love that. Right.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah. And I think the thing is too, it's like, for me that like one of my, I don't want to say goals, cause it's not really goals, but one of the initiatives I want to tackle this year is like, just really like, get to know myself better. Like, cause it's been a long time since I'm like, oh, I'm going to go take this photography class just because, right? Or I'm going to go do this cooking class just cause. Like, don't be afraid to try new things to see what lights you up.
Right. Oh yeah. So I'm just reaching out to the audience who's watching on Facebook and asking if they have any biz questions for you.
Perfect.
So if they do. So if you have any questions, please ask them. We're here for that. I mean, I agree. You do have to try some new things. You have to, everything happens outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that a little bit, leaning into your fears, because you said that to me.
Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, you got to. One of my favorite books is You Are a Badass at Making Money.
My fave.
Yeah, it's so good. The funny thing is I don't think I've ever read it. I just listen to it all the time. I've probably listened to it like 15 or 16 times.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Jen Sincero talks about in that book is like using fear as a compass. And I've really embraced that in 2018. And now it's just like, I'm afraid to do something. Let's just do it anyway. Like, and that's not always easy to conquer that mindset of just moving forward regardless of your fear.
Right.
It's challenging, but I think that there is, if you really want to achieve your goals and the only thing that was stopping you was that piece of fear, wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, you and I had a tough conversation last week, and I'm bringing this up because I didn't really tell you what was the problem, what my real problem was with all of what we were talking about, because it was my fear, and I knew what it was, and I never really said, I didn't say it to you.
Yeah.
I said it to you. But, no, because you were calling me out.
I had a sneaky suspicion what it was.
Yeah, I think that, let's say what we were talking about, what I love to do in terms of the reality YouTube channel and getting that sponsored and the radio station and all this. And this is all we're talking about Boston, possibly, doing some other places as well, but starting in Boston, but
with a radio show.
With the radio,
I want to hear you say it.
I know with the radio show, but we talked about getting sponsors and me reaching out, and it was the fear of the rejection and the humiliation, and that they'll say that's stupid.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna. I mean, somebody might, but
well, no, I mean, it's not stupid. It's great. It's fun. Well, to me, it's fun. Like, I don't even care if somebody thought it was stupid, but like that, but getting it subsidized is a different story.
Right. Well, you're getting people to also buy into what you believe, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's scary.
It's very scary. That's probably my scare, is it's all of that. So anyway, and I thought about I was hearing it in my head when we were talking. I was like, but so, but it's good though, right? I mean,
right. It's great. Well, but I think the thing for me that's shocking is I don't think I've ever heard you say I can't.
Until that day.
Yeah, until that day. There's very few things that I've ever heard you say I can't, and that for me was like, I don't want to. It's not a red flag, but it was like, oh, that's something that Steph's afraid to do for some reason, right? Like whatever the reason, it doesn't really matter, but we got to get you through that because like it's silly. Like, that's just, I remember when I first started doing the podcast, and I'll use myself as an example, so I'm not speaking for you, but I remember when I started doing the podcast, I was like, oh my God, is anybody even going to like this content? Like, what's going to happen? Like, I said, too many times. I did this. I did that, blah, 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 blah. Like, every excuse in my brain, I was like the master of coming up with excuses.
Right.
Okay. And every single one of those excuses is just fear. Right? It's just another reason in my brain for me to not move forward with this, insert whatever it is. And it's like, when you take a step back from it and you're like, well, what's the worst that could really happen is somebody tells you that you suck, right? Well, people are going to tell you suck regardless of whether you're doing anything or not, right?
Well, yeah, there are people that are in high level positions that are very, making bazillion dollars that people tell them, have something bad to say about them.
Right. Like, I don't know. I was watching Instagram stories this morning, and like Kim Kardashian was talking about Yeezy's got new high heels coming out or whatever. Right. And she's like, everyone's going to rip these off, but there'll be none like these, and that's fine. And everyone will, throw shade. It is what it is, but there's only one original. Right. So I think, the more that you can, and it's hard because it's like, especially when it's your business, it's like, it's your baby, it's personal, but like, if the worst thing to do is that somebody who has enough time on their hands is to write you a negative comment or to say something negative about you, then first of all, that person's not your ideal client, number one. And number two, that means you're doing a damn good job.
Right.
Right. That's exactly, like, the content that you're creating is polarizing, and it's getting people to have an opinion, and it's like it's triggering them in some way, shape, or form, and that's what you want. Like, you want that, because there's going to be people on the opposite end of the spectrum that are like, this is awesome and it helped me.
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree.
Hey everybody, this is Marco Paulos with Fat Cat Swinger Louis Prima Jr., also known as Marco on Sax, and you're listening to the Just Steph Show.
You fell into the coaching. I want to talk a little bit about what you offer and what you offer with the marketing group, Outlier Marketing Group, and also what you offer, Jamie Palmer. So tell us about the coaching and then the other things that you have going on.
Yeah, so we do done for you and taught to you is kind of the way that I explain it. So we do it for you. We handle it start to finish. So social media, Facebook ads, website design, anything from you need done in your business creative perspective, we can pretty much handle, whether that's a video shoot or, a funnel or Facebook ads or whatever that is. And then we also teach everyone how to do that, teach and coach on how to, I like to say, build your digital business ecosystem. Because ultimately, when you start an online business, it's about having like this ecosystem where you're continually putting people into this ecosystem where you feed them and you nurture them, and then they ultimately become clients.
Right. So so you're like what happened with you and I, we started with the coaching and now we're doing all the other stuff, which I have to say makes my life so much easier. Like, woo!
Yeah. It's so funny. You're like the third person that has said that to me in the past 2 days, which is just so funny. I never think of it that way.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm a sort of a single, sole proprietor here. I have interns and stuff, but interns are wonderful. They're creative, they're young, and they have great, fresh ideas, but they're also spread thin between school, trying to have another job so they can make money, and then they're socializing, and then they're trying to be an intern for you. And so I find that their time is very limited. So I like to tap into their best, what they love to do.
Right.
And what do you love to do? Because then they'll do it.
Yeah.
It'll get done. And so, but with that being said, the social media and the other things are very, for me, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And I don't have time for that, but I also I'd rather be doing what the value stuff for me, which is the writing and the Facebook Lives and the clients and the coaching. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. And I mean, most business owners should be doing that, right? Like you know, most should be in that, I call it strategic space, where they're working on their business, right? And working like from a marketing perspective, they're creating that macro content, which becomes the basis for all the other content, right? Like you just did that video shoot with Andrew, which you're gonna be blown away by some of these videos.
I
by
can't
the way,
wait.
I saw some yesterday and I was like, oh my God, these are awesome.
I can't wait.
And I think that for you, like, you know, that's so valuable. Like, it's just so your vision, and you had a really specific vision on what you wanted to do for that. And like, you guys nailed that. And I think, you know, when you can just be like, come in and focus on your genius, right? Like you personally can come in and be like, here, I'm going to do the thing that I know I'm the best at, and I'm going to rock it today. That gives you so much content to work with when starting to put yourself out there on the internet.
Well, but here's the thing. The other part of it is I had more fun that day than I probably did in the whole of 2018. I'm not kidding you. That was the best day of but think about that. And I'm saying this for the people out there who are trying to figure out what they love to do.
Yeah.
I got this, I'm going to cry now. I got a glimpse of what I like one day. Like I would do that every day.
Yeah.
I would do that every day. I had so much fun and it was so good. And it brought such, to me, it was valuable.
Yeah.
Valuable content, valuable information. People want to see that, and people are going to want to see their neighborhoods.
Right. That's true. I didn't even think of it that way, but yeah.
They're going to want to see the places that they grew up in these videos. That this is what people want to see. People are always looking for the good old days. What happened to the good old days? Right? Well, the good old days of today, if you can live them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. And I think that's the thing, like, I don't know, business owners need to, and this is just my opinion, but for 2019, they really just need to focus on like that, just like you did that day, banging out, you know, videos for the next 3 months, so that then they can continue to focus on that zone of genius rather than getting caught up in all the.
Oh, but see, that was my zone of genius.
That is your zone of genius.
What I was doing, that's where I'm good.
Yeah. I agree.
And I'm good at that, but I'm also really good on the one-on-ones, like one-on-one with people, because I, can read them really well, and that's really fun for me.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's more draining. What I did with the video shoot was so like fun and energizing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
and I think, and I think for you too, like the more that you, like, YouTube's the second largest search engine after Google, right? So like, you're also setting yourself up for such success with that content that you're going to be able to use in so many places, right? And we already have another one in the books, but I think people need to start to think like that, right? Like so many business owners get caught up in this, like, I got to do this every single day hustle. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like that.
Right. Well, but I just think doing what you love every day and like I said in my videos last week, and I know I was a little bit out there, but surrounding yourself with positive people and being true to yourself and authentic and the most loving person you can be, you will start to attract all of that, and the other people will go away.
Yeah.
One way or another, they're going away. They're either going to leave, or you're going to walk away, or it's just going to fizzle.
Yeah, right.
It just fizzles. And I've had a lot of fizzles.
Hey, we all have. It's so funny. I was talking to my husband this week, and it's been a challenging week. Like the kids have been sick, and there's been some like lots of just ups and downs with work. And you're like, he's like, it's just another growth spurt. Like, it's fine. You just have to embrace that. And it's one of those things where the faster that you can, I always say to the team, like, it's not a matter of if you drop the ball, it's a matter of when, right? Like everybody's going to drop the ball at some point, right? Like me, you, them, everyone, right? And it's how you react to that. And I think the thing that, as I've grown as an entrepreneur and as we like coach more people and impact more people, like one of the things that I'm realizing is like the faster you can kind of like get that ball back and keep moving forward, the faster you're going to be able to continue to stay in momentum.
Right. So just pick it up, just get right back up. It's like the same old thing. Fall down, get up. I mean, but I keep going to the universe. I'm like, how many times do I have to fall? You know, I'm getting hurt.
I mean, if I could only count the number of times that I have failed, Steph, you know, if I had $1 for the number of times that I've like done something and it's failed or it's flopped or it's whatever, you know, or it's just mediocre, I'd be a millionaire by now. You know what
and I think that's good advice for anybody looking. I mean, whatever you're doing in your career or in your life or in your job or starting a new business, is that really, to me, there's no failure. It's just clarification of what works and what doesn't work, or where to go next. Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny. I was telling you the other day, right? Like, I think it was yesterday, right? And we're like, because you're into the manifesting stuff, right? So like I have a client who's also another client, a different one, who's really into the manifestation stuff. And she's always like, tell the universe what you want and then ask what you should do next. Right. And it's like, the more that you can really listen to your, and whether you call it universe, God, you know,
internal voice, higher power,
God, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. But the more that you can tune into that, the faster that you're going to get to where you want to be. And that's not to say that, you know, you can't, you have to take action in all areas, right? You got to take action. It's not like just sit there and wait around, but the more that you can listen to that voice, then take action, the faster you're going to be able to get to where you want to be.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How can people get in touch with you? You know, so let's clarify: coaching, business coaching, and then you have your do it yourself, or we'll do it for you.
Yep.
And then we'll teach you to do it. If you don't want to, you know, if you don't want us to do it, we'll teach you.
Yep.
So you could get, like, if I had a team, if you have a small company and you have a team that will do the social media for you,
we'll come in and teach everyone how to do it.
There you go. And then, you know, so
we have a lot of fun.
I love it. See, that's not fun to me though.
Everybody's different.
I know. I mean, to learn how to, like, I don't want to learn how to do it. Just do it.
Yeah, most people, and that's the thing. I mean, we you know, teach it to you, coach you how to do it, coach you through your you know, growing your business, and then you know, do it for you.
Right. Well, you know, the funny thing is with me is I did it all by myself. Yeah. And I did a lot of it, and I got as far as I could possibly get. And I'm going, okay, yeah, I'm at my limit. Like, I don't know, I can't do any more and I'm not making the money that I need to be making. Yeah. So somebody's got to help me. And I think you'll say to, you know, I brought a lot of content. I wasn't starting from scratch.
No, you brought tons of content, which is totally a struggle with a lot of people, because a lot of people get a lot of head trash over like doing the Facebook Lives or writing the emails or that sort of stuff. And that's really where you shine, which is, it's like so refreshing to work with somebody that is not like resistant to doing that sort of stuff. Like, you and I don't have to have an hour conversation about why you need to do a Facebook Live. You'll just be like, okay, tell me what you want me to talk about. Or I'll come up with something. Do you like this topic? Okay, good. I'll go do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I never met a mic I didn't like. So you know, I just love the microphone, and the camera's fun too. So you know, that's fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just, some of the other stuff is the sales and the other things are kind of tough. So
yeah, well,
everybody has their talents, right?
Everybody's got their thing.
So how can people find you?
You can find me on the web at outliermarketinggroup.com. We also have a podcast, just like Steph, which Steph's actually been on the podcast. It's called the OMG Show with Jamie Palmer. And we put out like short, you know, 15-minute, very digestible pieces of content on there. So you don't have to like listen for an hour. Cause like, if you're like me, you know, you've got a 10 or 12 minute ride to the gym, and a 10 or 12 minute podcast is like the perfect amount of time. So there's a lot of fun content over there. So yeah, outliermarketinggroup.com.
So you're on iTunes, you're on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. You can find us at Outlier Marketing Group there. You can find us at Outlier Marketing Group pretty much anywhere. Pinterest, YouTube, iTunes, Google, iHeartRadio, Facebook. I said that. LinkedIn.
Twitter,
all Outlier Marketing Group.
Yeah.
Try to keep it consistent.
Well, it kills me because it's like OMG.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's
So-
such a good play on words too, because outliers are the, the 1 in a million,
Yep.
the diamond in the rough.
Yep. Yeah, we had a lot of fun coming up with that name.
Yeah. Because you know what, that I consider myself that.
You are.
So different from like everybody. So I'm like, so it's just a different, and I think that it's such a great, it's a great name. And so you're all over the place, and we met through Boston Business Women. So that's, that was great. So I have one last question for you. If you could invite 7 people from any time period to your dinner table, who would they be?
Oh, this is so hard. You asked me this before. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Any time period. I would say, oh God, this always gets me every time. Because there's so many choices that in ways that you could go. So I would say, God, Steph. I would say, let's see. I would say George Washington, because I think that'd be super cool to like talk to him. I think, and I don't know if there's a specific name, but like anyone that was like one of the founding members of the 13 colonies would be super cool. Like people who came here from England originally.
Like John Smith.
Yeah, like anybody like that, I think would be really cool to talk to. I would love to obviously have Oprah there because she's super cool. This is going to be a weird one, but I really like Dylan Dreyer from the Today Show. I think that I don't know, for whatever reason, I just like can really relate to her. I think Barack Obama, because he's kind of like a really cool person that has done some interesting things in our time frame. Tom Cruise, because he's crazy. Right? Like, I kind of want to see like what's going on with his mindset. I would say Tony. What?
One more.
Tony Robbins.
There you go. That's pretty cool. It's a cool group. You know what? It's fun.
It's such a fun exercise. You're like, oh man, like who would you really invite? Because I try to think about it from the perspective, like what are all the kind of cool things that people have done along the way.
Yeah, I've had, when I ask that question in my workshops, I've had like Elvis, what I mean? Like, it's like really kind of cool. Like it's fun, So I'm like Cleopatra.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Think about that. Like Cleopatra, Helena Troy, and Joan of Arc.
Yeah, right?
3 bold bitches,
Yeah, right. And that's so good. Yeah, I didn't even think it like that, going that route.
So kind of cool, right? But
so cool.
Whatever. So everybody's different. But all right, so we come back?
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll check in down the road and see what's going on with OMG.
Awesome.
And what, I'm sure you'll be evolving and doing more stuff as the years go on. So
yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
I know, it was great. All right, kid. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Just Steph Show. I really care about you, your happiness, and helping you make great choices for your life. So tune in next week for more wisdom from me. In the meantime, follow me on my Just Steph Facebook page, on Twitter at Steph Palermo. My Instagram account is JustSteph1, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Steph Palermo. See you next week. Ciao, ciao, baby.